Have you ever been so art blocked that no matter what kind of aspect of your design process you're doing, you just can't manage to get it right? That was me with this. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my atelier. Today, I would like to take you guys once again through my character design process of designing one of my new characters that I've had in my mind for a really long time, but only kind of now got around to drawing. And by now, I mean that this video was recorded over a span of like 3 weeks because I kept having to do things for school. So, yeah, be warned. Really quick, just before I start, do you have an animal? Would you like me to perhaps draw it? Wouldn't that be super awesome? I think that you should email it to me to zoejingmeiart@gmail.com for my 100 subscriber special, because yeah, I already managed to reach 100 subscribers, which for some people might not be a lot, but for me it is, and I think it's kind of crazy. So I would like to give back a little and draw your guys' pets. So yeah, email it to me. Whee! So while I was creating this character, I already had a very clear purpose for him in mind, which is the fact that he's a fire magic teacher at the witch school that I'm building. But I always try to like explore the initial concept of like a certain element and stuff a little bit more. So I was kind of thinking about like fire, and I was thinking about like the sun, like the literal sun, not like in like an astrological way, like the literally burning ball of fire kind of way. So I kind of went with the sun motive throughout his character. And I was thinking a lot about like character traits and stuff while I was creating it, because I feel having a character is nice, but having characters that have good dynamics between each other or have purposes with each other is even better. So I actually do have a character that he's supposed to kind of be like in tandem with, which is another teacher, like a plant teacher at the school. So that might be another video. But yeah, I started off with like a mood board on Mellow and then I moved on to drawing on my sketchbook. And oh boy, I don't have a problem designing. If I have like a mood board, I don't think that I struggle with designing characters in particular. But someone was testing me today because the poses were not posing. And even now, if I look at them, and like, mind you, I did this like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, the poses were not it. But it's kind of hard because people are always like, oh yeah, you know, when you design, you don't have to pay attention to anatomy and stuff. But I feel like there has to be like a certain degree of anatomy involved for me to like not look at my designs and be like, okay, this is a bad design. Because there's always a difference between like, is the design bad or is the anatomy bad? Because sometimes bad anatomy can like make clothes look weird. So it's quite important to actually like know the difference. So yeah, I sketched out a few different like outfits I had in mind. I already had some like previous sketches, and I knew that I wanted to be a very like royal feeling design, and I will get into that a little bit later on why. But I settled with this very like sophisticated silhouette of like these draping fabrics and like a large coat, and like I'm sure he has high boots under his skirt, but you know, this like robe kind of thing. I don't know if there's any Star Wars fans here, but I remember when they launched the High Republic, I was really into like that kind of aesthetic, and I made like OCs and everything. That's how I got my start into like character design and viz dev, Star Wars OCs. So yeah, never forget your roots, guys. But yeah, so I went with this very light, sophisticated palette because I feel like the sun is such like a powerful entity, if one may say so, in like literature and stuff, that I wanted to kind of have this like elegance captured within the character. So that's why I went with this whole, you know, almost royal-esque design. One challenge that I definitely faced during his design was how to portray the sun within like his different elements. Because here's the thing, in my world there's 12 human disciplines of magic, and one of them is light and the other is fire, and they're very different, but I feel like they share a lot of commonalities. And then obviously there's also star magic, which is different. It's not, star magic has nothing to do with the sun. It's purely like star. Okay, I'm realizing I'm gonna have to make lore videos because this is sounding like complete utter nonsense. But basically, how was I gonna portray the sun to not get it confused with light sparkles, which I also use in my art, or B, stars? So I went with these more curved sun rays almost. And then I did kind of want to have the light aspect in there just because, I don't know, it's cute, it's elegant, it's nice, and I think it still mirrors the shape language in an appropriate way. So, oh yeah, here's my cat. He was sleeping on my bed. Isn't he so cute? I love my cat. He sleeps like knocked out every time. He's like a back sleeper. Anyways, yeah. Color. Obviously, there are supposed to be a lot of like browns and stuff, and especially like whites. There's like this like yellow beige color palette. And I always think it's so hard to balance out these colors, because I have a thing for like, I think they're called analogous color palette, where like you have like everything and then you add like one color to contrast, and that's cute. But I cannot keep doing it for every single character design. Okay, we gotta switch it up. We gotta get some variety in there. So I went with a more harmonious, harmonious color palette this time. And I struggled with it a lot because I didn't know what to do with the cape. I wanted a cape so bad, and you'll see me figure it out literally while I was drawing, because I think I was so done with the drawing by then because nothing was working out. And yeah, sometimes art is hard, not because you're struggling with your fundamentals, just because like, I don't know, sometimes it's just hard because it is, which is funny. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this, but I want to do a little bit of character details. I think it's always good to sketch out like the parts that you're not sure of. Like for me, it was the sun design that I wasn't sure of, because it is quite a big part of his character, because he has it on his belt and also as an earring. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna make the earring his spellcasting tool. I was initially gonna make him like a staff, but I don't know. I thought it would be like inconvenient, but I feel like he's also like extra enough for him to do have a staff as a spellcasting tool. So I might come back to that later, but for now it's his earring with the little gem in it. Yeah, so that's basically my progress. Not too different, but it felt really different this time around. I think I'm just tired, but yeah. I'm still happy I designed him because I've been meaning to for a long time. So yeah, digital drawing time. Woo! Okay, time for me to get into character lore. So his name is Elios, spelled E-L-I-O-S. Like Elio, like sun. Get it? Because he's the sun when the sun. So yeah, great construction during my voiceover. He is what this world calls a star-kissed, aka a half-elf, halfling. I call it star-kissed because elves have like a relation to like the goddess of stars, and star-kissed implies that the blood of the star goddess does. I'm making a lore video. But yeah, he's a star-kissed / half-elf. He teaches at the school mainly because he has a half-sister, which is fully human, that ended up in a little accident. You might be familiar with her if you're following me on Instagram. Her name is Eloise, and she works at the school's library. But yeah, he was a very, very talented sun magician or fire magician of his time. And his father comes from the tribe of celestial elves, specifically the sun ones, which I'm making a lore video. Okay, this is getting very detailed, but basically he has a really big affinity for the sun and sun magic and fire magic involving it. So yeah, he is a pretty good teacher, and he has a very outgoing personality. He might be the most talkative person in like the teaching staff, at least teaching for like the first year students. So he is quite popular, and especially with the students too, because they're not as intimidated by him, which can't be said about every single member of staff. But yeah, behind his very outgoing and very optimistic personality, however, lies a very deep sense of guilt. And that has mainly to do with his half-sister, Eloise, because there's a thing where if humans use too much magic, they might end up transformed or even dead. And because of a certain event, which once again I will be mentioning in the lore video because it's way too long to explain now, humans can't use magic by themselves, unlike other species within this world. So elves, they don't need spell casting tools, they don't need all that to be casting magic. They can just do it by nature, versus humans can't. So they can also handle a lot more magic. And him and Eloise, they grew up together, and he always encouraged Eloise to do her best, but he never really understood the differences between his heritage and her heritage. Heritage meaning that his elven blood kind of allowed him to handle more magic and do grander things. And Eloise always wanted to catch up to him, so she ended up using magic, blah, 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 blah. She ends up transformed. I will make a lore video. But yeah. So it is that guilt that kind of like keeps him in place and doesn't really like allow him to move on. And at first he kind of feels very restricted within his career and feels like it is a sort of punishment, but over time he really finds love in this job. And he attended the school himself when he was younger, amongst like two of his friends. So they also work as teachers now, so it's nice to kind of still have that connection to his past. So yeah, he ends up really enjoying it and growing by himself, eventually like letting go of that guilt, because Eloise is chilling. She loves her job, dog. So she never blamed him or anything. But yeah, they were just being stupid kids, and they had an accident and it didn't turn out that well. But yeah, that's all for today. I hope you like it. Don't forget to email me your pets so I can draw them. And yeah, like if you liked it, subscribe if you liked it even more, and see you around.